we're marching? Like why are we putting our lives on line? Like, risking our bodies, right? Because we were like walking next to like semis and stuff. Like it wasn't like you're just walking down the sidewalk. Some parts of it had sidewalks, but like a lot of it was like you've seen Route 1. I mean Route 1 and Baltimore Pike, just semis, dump trucks, like, people going fast. Yeah, minutes, yo. Lincoln students, and like we wrote a letter to the state troopers, like, hey, can we have an escort? And I thought he was gonna be like, yeah, because you're naive. Like, yeah, people are gonna help us out. They're gonna protect and serve. And this is not a diss on the state troopers, but he was being realistic. He said, "Oh, I really admire what you're doing. This is a great cause." Then he sent like 4 paragraphs. You should not do this march. I think this is illegal. Some of the roads, you don't have a route. You're putting people's lives in danger. Some of these roads are like non-walkable. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, ooh. And that's our chief partee the next day. It's our Lincoln University chief of police. He was like, "You be angry, man. Today at the 7 o'clock news, shooting in Baltimore.
Shooting in Baltimore. Oh, it's a shooting in Baltimore.
Shooting in Baltimore happened right outside of a convenience store."
That's literally like that's every murder in Baltimore right there.
We're gonna have live from the scene.
All right. It's really loud in there. All right, so boom, welcome back to another episode of the Black Caliber Podcast. We're thrilled to reintroduce a guest who has truly exemplified what it means to lead and excel in today's dynamic political landscape. Drake Smith, when we last spoke, his potential was, we seen it growing, but now in the 2 years since, he's gone above and beyond a lot of expectations. Starting off our SGA president, 22 to 23 academic year, led through that, got a lot of connections, put the school on. Didn't stop there. He got an internship with our president, Dr. Allen, honing his skills even more, understanding political science, firsthand knowledge he was a congressional intern navigating complexities of the government and policy as a board of the College Democrats. He's also a forefront of political activism. Was he one of the Freedom 13?
Freedom 14.
14.
66 miles to Harrisburg and back.
Yeah. And he also just came back from the DNC, sponsored by the DNC, right?
Yeah, we were under the chair of the DNC, so she invited us out.
He making big moves. All right, so first, let's start off. So you just got back. All right, let me put this over here. That's just for your introduction.
Okay.
You gotta read it. Hopefully that's off camera. All right, so first, how was the DNC? What was that like? What was that experience like?
First, just going back to the introduction, I feel like we both had grown. Gotta acknowledge you. I was saying off camera, this is one of the most consistent podcasts I've seen. Other than real deal professional ones, Yeah. We're just going places. They're gonna put them on the alumni wall.
Oh yeah, that's the goal. I'm trying to get my picture downstairs.
Everybody name a building after him. Oh my goodness. But the DNC, man, it was just a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. And this year it wasn't doom and gloom. We gotta be scared of Trump. We're not going back. They said that, but it was more so this is the Democratic Party. This is what we have to offer. Some of y'all have never heard of Tim Walz, but that a teacher, right? All around good guy. Seems like an uncle. He's just a cool guy. He doesn't seem so stiff and robotic JD Vance. And this podcast is nonpartisan, by the way. We're talking strictly in facts, right? We don't endorse candidates. We endorse positions. But it was a lot of energy and a lot of young people. I think a lot of people think oh, Drake, you're involved in politics. You're so young. It's I'm a rarity. But no, a lot of young people all across the country. I mean, you see it on campus with the college Democrats, right? The political science majors, we get involved. But all across the country, a lot of energetic youth. Surprising, a lot of, which is a good surprise, a lot of energetic Black youth. It was a very diverse convention. It wasn't just a whole bunch of white people, right? Mm-hmm. It was, Black people, Asian people, young people, people all genders and backgrounds. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. This is my first convention. God willing, won't be my last because I got to go back. And I mean, you never know who you're gonna see. Tiffany Haddish was just walking around the hallway. She's so down to earth. She doesn't have a whole bunch of security. I think she had a drink in her hand when I saw her. And she went up to the concierge. Hey, where's the stage at? And she's funny. She's not funny, like, oh, I gotta laugh at her because she's there, but like, no, she's genuinely funny, like a cool person. Who else was there? We saw other famous people. Oh, D.L. Hughley was there. Did you watch any of that?
That makes sense.
He was funny. Very D.L. He was super funny, but you know, he apologized to Harris because like originally he didn't like some of her policies and stuff, but then like they met. She said like do some research. He did the research, so now he did so much research. He was like I don't want to say he was like her biggest like opposition, but for him to like turn a page like that much, like from criticizing her to like endorsing her at the DNC, telling some very funny jokes. Not banging tail. My fault. I just you're on her. You know, I don't know. I get so energized, man. But the DNC was great. We're gonna get you a ticket next time.
Hopefully,
we get Black Caliber podcast live from the DNC because they had a whole news section. So like all kinds of podcasts, like Sirius XM was out there, Fox News Radio, Roland Martin show was out there, like a lot of all kinds of like, you know, podcasts, radio broadcasts, news broadcasts, you know, but not the Black Caliber.
Probably next time you're gonna be up there. Watch. You're gonna be one of the speakers. And speaking of which, right? So we got some things in the works. Hopefully, you know, we can get Drake his own show right here on the Black Caliber podcast, you know, talk about some of these, what are they? Some of these
issues.
Yes, policy. That's the word I was looking for.
Make it palatable for people.
Exactly. You know, so more understandable. And you feel so, you know, this kind of our like introduction to that. We gonna call it what we gonna call it?
The college politician.
College politician.
Who came up with that?
I mean, I did, but still like
the mastermind.
Hey man, somebody gotta do the work. You know what I mean? That's gonna be you. So, all right, so let's start with right. So last time we used to talk about how you got to college, right? Mm-hmm. How you got here, right? How you ended up in the SGA position, right? So let's kind of pick up from there. So what did you, since then, like, what do you feel like you learned, or like, what did that position do for you moving forward? Yeah. Like coming out of, so you just like, you're Drake, what is this, 2023, 2024?
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
Entering junior year. I think first, like, being SGA president really humbled me. You know, I enjoyed like every second of it. You know, I learned a lot. And it really showed me like the ins and outs of like Lincoln and how to navigate a HBCU and the administration and the importance of connections. Like if you just go to somebody's office, I need this, this, and this. No, I go in people's office. Hey, how are you? You know, how's the family? Like I get to know them, and they'll look out for you. Then when you say, "Hey, I need this," they'll be like, "I'll make it happen." But the position, it showed me also showed me my worth. Like it wasn't just the position. Like I'm Drake, not that Drake, but Drake, right?
Drake.
Not BBL Drizzy. No, not BBL Drizzy. I used to when I used to walk in the room, it's like Drake, Drake. Like they would always say that. Now it's like I'm a peer mentor. So like one of my mentees on campus, he's a freshman. Every time he sees me, he just plays BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy. And it's like, it's funny. Like I really enjoy it. It's funny. But I'm gonna have to live with that for the rest of my life.
So. Right, definitely.
Yeah, but I'm the other Drake. But and then like there were still issues to like go after on campus. Like, you know, my biggest thing is like the Lincoln legacy, like making sure that people know the gravity and the greatness of Lincoln, and that this is the genesis of Black higher education. Like lots of love to Cheney, but we did it first, you know?
We definitely did it first. Like
lots of love to Cheney. You know, I know we talked about Howard on the last show, but like we were the first. And you know what they say? If you're not the first, you're the, it's like, no, but you know, like people gotta know who came through here and like just be a proud Lincoln graduate. Like we have a lot of people that like do 4 years here and they barely talk about it in the real world, or they show up to like one homecoming every year and they have a blast, but that's it. Yeah. They won't donate back. They won't give their time. They just show up, show out, maybe crash out, right?
Like, probably crash out.
Don't bring your crash out friends up here.
Please don't. No, it's funny because it was like we went on a trip. Somebody was telling me, they're like, yeah, Drake be arguing every HBCU. He be sitting there telling them, you know, a Lincoln grad founded your school.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You be beefing every chance you
get. I don't know if I ever told you this, but we were at Dr. Allen sent me when I was SJ president to the White House to meet with Kamala Harris and like 100 other students from colleges. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
go ahead.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, you good.
Okay. To meet with a whole bunch of other students to tell them that she was doing like an abortion roundtable, talk about reproductive rights, and I was outnumbered. It was like like 10 guys in there, like 90 women. Like, it was cool, you know. And why'd you look at the camera? We're gonna make this serious. We're gonna make this a serious podcast.
I was just thinking, like, well, I mean, did you not want to be outnumbered?
No, it was too many dudes for my liking. I wish it was 1 to 99. No, I'm joking. But let me get serious. All right, here we go. And we were there, and like the Howard SGA president gets up there. Her name is Jordan. She's great. She's at Harvard Law School now, and she's like, you know, man, Vice President, it's great to be here. You know, as a Howard alum, a Howard student, you're a Howard alum. I look up to you, and also, you know, you're following the great footsteps of another Howard alum, Thurgood Marshall. And it took me everything not to turn around. And I'm like, wait a minute. It was getting real black real quick. Wait a minute. Real ignorant, right? So I called her in the hallway. I said, hey, you know, I'm the SJ President Lincoln. You're the SJ President Howard. You know, we started talking to that. I was like, but I said verbatim, but you know better than to lie to the Vice President of the United States and say that. Thurgood Marshall went to Howard. He went to Lincoln first. And if it wasn't for Lincoln, he wanted to be a dentist. It's your fun fact of the day. Thurgood Marshall entered Lincoln. He wanted to be a dentist. But then his professor was like, no, you could be a lawyer. So that's how we got Thurgood Marshall the lawyer and not Thurgood Marshall the veneer tech. You know?
The veneer tech.
Right? Not the veneer tech. And she was like, what? No. So we got like a fake argument. Like, it was all friendly, all love. I just saw her at the DNC. Like, she was behind the scenes. Like, and if you think I'm doing it big, like, she was behind the scenes with Obama. Like, and that's the good thing. Like, it's a lot of young, energetic, you know, black students getting into politics.
We're going to get Obama. I'm saying that now. I don't know how long it's going to take. We're going to get Obama. Hopefully in that tan suit.
So we all got to get tan suits, man.
I need that Easter suit. Oh my gosh.
But like, if he wears one, I can never wear one because he just makes it look so effortless. Like,
it's so clean.
So classy. But it was like, you know, that's just the Lincoln pride. And that's the Lincoln pride I have. It's just like, I'm going to die for my school. Like, I love it.
Yeah, so... Right, so back to the initial question.
Oh, right. I don't know what we're talking about at this point. Yeah.
Right, so you get that. You start working with Dr. Allen. Mm-hmm. And then from working with Dr. Allen, what was that next step for you? Because I know you was college demmed.
Yeah. So, like, you know, we're in the community, like off campus, right? We see all the, working with local politicians, you know, Rep. Jordan Harris, State Senator Vincent Hughes, State Senator Carolyn Committa, and many others, right? The Black Caucus of Pennsylvania, you know, under the leadership of Napoleon Nelson. And then, like, you know, you hear in the news that Lincoln is owed some money, right? Not just Lincoln, but Lincoln, Penn, Pitt, and Temple. And you start doing some research, and it's like, why are they holding us up? Well, factually, this is just facts, right? Not being partisan, but the Republican Party had some issues, you know, with money allocation, right? Penn State wasn't being as transparent with where their money was going, right? The University of Pittsburgh was doing some stem cell research. And, you know, stem cell research, you know, that involves like fetuses, right? And that goes into the whole abortion issue, Roe v. Wade. You know, we know which party likes that, which party doesn't like that. That's a fact, right? We're just being factual. So like then Temple, I don't know what Temple's issues were, but it's Temple, so it was something, right? No, we love Temple, we love the Owls, but then you look like, okay, so why is Lincoln being held up in all this? We're all state-related schools, right? That means we're public-private. We act as private institutions, but we get money from the state. I think Lincoln, about 20% of our budget comes from the state. So we're missing about $18, $19 million from the state. That has been held up since the summer going into the last, like a year, almost a year ago. It was in November that we did the march. So, you know, I went to my girl, Mackenzie Hanks. You know, everybody on campus knows Mackenzie, Miss Get It Done. And I was like, because we were working we were interns under Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan. So we're going to work one day. I was like, hey, Mackenzie, you know, the school's missing some money. She said, yeah, I heard, you know, I've seen the news reports, blah, blah. I said, so what if we just marched to Harrisburg? I thought she was going to call me crazy. Like, she paused and she was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do it. So that was like in end of September, I said that to her. Then we kind of like lollygagged all of October. You know, it was homecoming. My birthday's in that month. We just like, I think midterms were during then. Yeah. So it was just like so much going on. It wasn't literally until like the last 2 days of October, we put out a press release saying like, hey, we're marching to Harrisburg. And then the next email we get the next morning is Dr. Allen. wish she would have told me something before, guys. Like, give me a heads up. We're like, oh, we messed up. So we went to Dr. Allen. We told her, like, hey, like, as students, we're going to march. And she said, okay. But she made sure we had lots of resources. You know, Dr. Colvin helped us out. Dean Brian DeBinion, Chief Partee, Reverend Faison. Like, before we actually took off for the march, Chief Partee and Reverend Faison were like, they rode the route that we were going to walk. And, like, Chief was doing, like, his, you know, federal government, like, investigation. Like, okay, you can stop here. Don't stop here. If an emergency happens, go here, da-da-da. And Rev was, like, praying the whole way. So we got, like, divine help and, like, you know, police help. So it was, like, it was real nice. And the march went off without a hitch. You know, it was 14 of us. You know, the Freedom 14. Senator Vince Hughes calls us the Fab 14. That's what his wife calls us, you know, the Honorable Cheryl Lee Ralph from Abbott Elementary, Miss Barber. She says the Fab 14, which is really cool. And it was like, you know, we did like, but before we left for the march, you know, I was real nervous. Like, I was at A&T for homecoming because my twin goes there. Shout out to Drew. And I was real nervous. Like, you know, we didn't have all the plans, you know, like where they need to be solidified. And like, it was still a lot of moving parts. And like, it's like a real deal march. Like, if this goes wrong, it's like, you know, we're ruining that Lincoln legacy I was just talking so highly of. But then we went to church down there, and the pastor said, make no small plans because they never had the power to stir the soul. And I was looking at him, and then he goes on to talk about when Moses and the Israelites were wandering through the desert, and Moses sent 12 scouts to scout out from Egypt into Israel, to scout out the promised land. And 10 of the scouts came back with negative reports. Oh, this is not a good land. You know, we shouldn't stay here. It's unhospitable. But then two scouts came back with positive reports, and it was a land flowing with milk and honey. And I put myself in those shoes, and I was like, wow, the two good scouts are me and Mackenzie. Right, we're coming. We have this plan. We had a lot of people, a lot of naysayers saying, oh, you shouldn't do this. Why are you doing such like old school tactics? Like, what has a march done in the last 50 years, right? This is not civil rights movement. Why are you marching? You know, you can do all these other campaigns, social media and stuff. But I'm a firm believer, you know, like the quote says, make no small plans because you can't stir the soul. If I just put a flyer out and say, hey, we're going to take a bus up to Harrisburg, or we're going to just, you know, do some phone calls to the state, they're not going to listen to us. But we walked 66 miles, about 30 miles a day. And then when we got to Harrisburg, it would be us walking into their offices, and they would have their assistant there, and we would say, hey, we're here to meet with Senator so-and-so. Here's a letter we wrote. We just walked 66 miles from Lincoln University in southern Chester County. And the lady would stop. Like, she would be like typing away, doing something else, kind of half listening. And I'm like, yeah, we walked 66 miles. Huh? Wait, I'm sorry. Say it again. We walked 66 miles. Oh my goodness. Then she would like take the paper and she would put like urgent on the top, or like get to Senator so-and-so. Like, she would make sure that it was on his desk so you could read it. And then we got to the floor of the House with Rep. Joanna McClinton, who's a speaker, and she said these people walked for their school. And then we went to the Senate, and the Senator Committa introduced us, and Lieutenant Governor Austin Davis and the rest of the senators gave us like a standing ovation and stuff. They walked 66 miles, and that really turned the tide, because it was like caught up in committee. There's a whole bunch of like people. It's just politics as usual. Like, it's the politics that people don't like, right? Just oh, you're not helping me out. You know, you're just in it for yourself, right? Because this not little old school, but this school, Lincoln University, so much potential pride. And you're keeping this money that we do the most with our money, right? We have a lot of students that are first-gen college students. We have a lot of students that are, this is like their last great hope, right? It was either this or their army, this or like a dead-end job somewhere. But here you can start a podcast, be very successful. You can run for SGA president. You can travel.
You can win. You can win SGA.
And you can win. Winners. And, you know, we did the march, and that was the next thing I did after being SGA president. And like, we had a lot of support, and, you know, there's so many names I haven't named, and like, 'cause I'm like truncating the story, but like, I really could write like a really could do a podcast about that, like a couple stories about that. Like, you know, maybe we could do that for the cause politician.
You could do whatever. It's your show.
You can get McKinsey on the show, right? Talk about it. You
can do whatever it's your show.
But it was real nice because it was like we were paying homage to the civil rights movement. Like anybody that knows me knows I love history, right? Because like you don't know where you're going unless you know where you're coming from. And, you know, I went down to Selma, Alabama before we did the march, like the spring before we did the march with the group called the Transformative Justice Coalition. And I always wondered how they did the Selma March. Like I watched the movie, you know, I watched all the documentaries, you know, but I was like, what are the logistics? And they told me the logistics while I was down there. They had scouts go out before the marchers and they would set up camps and food and they would stop in people's yards to rest. It was like 20,000 people marched. 50 miles from Selma to the state capital, Montgomery, Alabama. And they were under armed escort by the National Guard because it was just so dangerous. So it's like, you know, we did a mini march, you know, we got our money, you know, and just this year, the governor, Josh Shapiro, should have been vice president, but, you know, his star is rising. They just signed another increase to Lincoln's funding, another 13%. So that's a couple more millions of dollars. So it's like, you know, you see all over the news where like HBCUs are losing funding, losing accreditation. You know, I'm glad Cheney got their accreditation back. I think St. Augustine's down in North Carolina got theirs back. But it's like scary, right? The fact that we're always on this like balance being like money, no money.
I was looking somewhere. It was talking about how Howard is like written into like DC's
really
whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
So that's why like they don't have to worry about that. Wow. Like a certain amount of money, regardless, goes to Howard. Like they get a percentage of like DC's wealth.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow, I didn't know that. But the other thing is, it's like endowments. Like this is where like the business side of things
endowments and all that.
Yeah, like it's like if you have an endowment, like a cushion, like they think of it like a professional trust fund for an organization. It's like you're good. Like okay, our enrollment went down this year, so we'll just dig out the endowment. That's why Harvard, Yale, Princeton can do so much because their endowment. I think Harvard's endowment is like $40 billion with a B. You know how much Lincoln's is? Like a little over 40 mil.
I mean, hey, they put that in the right stock on the stock market. Put that in Nvidia going up. It's like, nah.
Right. What's it? Berkshire Hathaway, right? Warren Buffett. Right?
Yeah. So, with that, my thing is, so how did you feel like you were prepared for these leadership positions to be able to even put together a march? You know, even put together a press release, because that's a big deal in itself.
We put that together like the night before, and we did like.
Don't y'all got to pay for that?
The press release? No, you just email to people. You know, like, and that's the connection. So I made a connection with like. Shout out to do we keep going? Yeah. Hey, shout out to the women's basketball team. They're gonna win again. Yeah, that's Lincoln. People always coming in and see what we do. I love it. I love it here. But it goes back to the connection. So we made a press release, and a lot of people didn't pick it up. Like a lot of organizations didn't pick it up, or I don't know why. Right? Maybe it's just there's other bigger news that day. But shout out to Aziza Schuler with CBS 3 Philadelphia. Right? She's like a award-winning journalist. She put us on the air. She gave us like we were on like the 10 o'clock segment. Like a live interview. It was me, McKenzie, I think it was Isaiah and Jason. You know, we all just talked about like why we're marching, you know, like why are we putting our lives on the line, like, you know, risking our bodies, right? Because we were like walking next to like semis and stuff. Like it wasn't like just walking down the sidewalk. Some parts of it had sidewalks, but like a lot of it was like, you've seen Route 1. I mean, Route 1 and Baltimore Pike, just semis, dump trucks, like people going fast. Yeah, minutes, yo. Lincoln students, and like we wrote a letter to the state troopers, like, "Hey, can we have an escort?" And I thought he was gonna be like, "Yeah," because you know you're naive, like, "Yeah, people are gonna help us out. They're gonna protect and serve." And this is not a diss on the state troopers, but he was being realistic. He said, "Oh, I really admire what you're doing. This is a great cause." Then he sent like 4 paragraphs. You should not do this march. I think this is illegal. Some of the roads, you don't have a route, you're putting people's lives in danger. Some of these roads are like non-walkable. Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, ooh. And that's our chief partee the next day. It's our Lincoln University chief of police. He was like, Chief, you know, we're doing the march. Did you see that email from the state troopers? He's like, yeah, Drake. Of course I saw the email. I was like, But that's why he took the initiative to go along the route. And he made notes like, this is where you shouldn't go. This is where you should go. You know, we had a van following us. So if it ever got too dangerous, too dark, because it's the fall, we're fighting against daylight, we would just hop in the van and go like 2 miles here, 2 miles there, just to, cause, you know, what's the point if 14 of us go and 13 come back? You know, someone gets clipped by a tractor trailer, it's like, then that's the news, right? Not that that the march failed. So, but I guess what gave me the confidence? I think history, like having that guise of history, like knowing that people went against like seemingly insurmountable odds in the past. Like we didn't have like state troopers on horseback and hoses and dogs on the other side waiting for us like they did in Selma. We didn't have like a governor against us like they had in Selma with George Wallace, you know. We didn't have like Klansmen riding at night, right, against us. You know, we had a lot of support from a lot of people, right? And I think it really inspired people because we raised $10,000 for the march. So, you know, the Alumni Association gave like $1,000. Black Voters Matter, a great group, they gave $1,500. You know, my fraternity gave $2,000. Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. Yeah, it's great. They gave us $2,000, and then like local donations. And the best story was we were walking in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. You ever heard of Mount Joy, Pennsylvania?
No,
didn't think so. It's a small town on the way to Harrisburg. We're walking through it, and we rest in a. It's called Moyer's Furniture. It's off of Main Street. We rest at Moyer's Furniture, and the owner comes out, not because he's like, who are these people? He's walking another customer out because it's a small business. You know, they really take that extra step with their clientele. And he sees us. He's like, oh wow, what is all this? Because low-key we looked like a church group or like a 5K fun run. Like we had like reflective vests on, we had shirts. It looked like it was like, oh, they're raising money for something. He comes like, hey, what's all this? So we say like, hey, our school's owed money by the state. You know, we're Stork School with Thurgood Marshall went there, Langston Hughes went there, HBCU, small school, you know, all of our students going to do great things. And we're like, wow. If we wrote you a check right now, would you take it? We said, yeah. So they wrote us $500 on the side of the road. They had met us no more than like 20 minutes, but they were so inspired by the march. So maybe that's why it worked. I don't think it was anything that it was just me. It was like we had a good, solid team, like a solid team, all 14 of us. If I started naming names, I would forget somebody. So I'm not gonna say any names, but the Freedom 14, know who you are, you know, Mackenzie Hanks.
Y'all got a website?
We have an Instagram. It's like the Lincoln March, at the Lincoln March. Just we probably should make a website. Yeah.
Y'all want me to make a website?
That's the business acumen. Jordan, he's like, I'm just like, I just have all these crazy ideas. He's like, you gotta do like this and this. This is how you can make money and market it. And I'm just like,
hey man,
keep hope alive.
Hey, man.
He's like, keep the money alive. But and then also like, you know, we're inspiring people. And of course, like, I have a deep faith, you know, so I think it was like part of that, you know, put it in God's hands.
Yeah, especially when you were talking about the pastor.
Reverend Faison.
Because it's funny because it's like I had my moments like that where, and I heard something, it was like God will show you change through somebody else.
Yeah.
You don't see it through TV, you see it in person.
Yep.
And I was, I went on this trip and I was having a rough time just in general, like, and this random guy come up to me because we had like the assignment we had on the trip was like buy somebody you don't know lunch or eat lunch with somebody you don't know.
Oh, that's pretty good.
He come up to me, we started talking. He's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, we just chatting. He's just telling me about his life. Right? I'm like, all right, this dude, he a little different. You know, he wasn't like your typical, you know, he was moving a little different. I'm like, all right. And we're talking, we're chatting it up. So he buys me lunch. I'm glad because I was broke. I was about to go back to the room, eat some chicken. And he bought me the sandwich I wanted. So nice. That was lit. And we sit down. He's like, yeah, you want to pray over the food? And I'm like, ah. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I ain't prayed in a while. He look at me and he go, you're dealing with things that you don't even know you're dealing with right now. And the only way you're going to get through them is by praying. I'm looking at him like, all right, you know, God is great. God is good. So I go home. I start praying and I'm praying. And it's like, it's like an epiphany. Like I start hearing, like I'm not saying hearing stuff, but it's like thoughts and stuff that I've been having. And I'm like, these ain't even my thoughts. Like I ain't even gotta worry about this. Since then I've been good. But like, and I know looking back, it's like on that time before I even spoke or met to him, because a lot of other things happened. I'm leaving things out of the story. It was just like I wasn't eating as much. I done lost like 10 pounds. I'm getting my weight back now, but it was just like I wasn't doing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even
taking care of yourself.
Yeah, but it was like I didn't even notice that was happening. I was just living.
Yeah.
Feel me? I'm just like, I'm not hungry right now. The whole time I ain't eat all day. I'm just not hungry. After that day, literally because that happened in the middle of the trip. I'm tearing food up. I'm running around. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess he was right.
Man, that's divinely ordained.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And the wild part is I have not seen that man since.
Really?
I did not see that man any other time after that.
Whoa.
So I'm like, you feel me? Like
he was real, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. The food was real though. The food he bought
was good. Well, see, that's a nice story. You never just lean on faith. Lean on faith.
You never know. You never know. So, what would be as a senior now? You know, as the old heads on campus.
I know, isn't that crazy?
We're the old heads on campus. Like,
can't believe it. I still feel like a freshman. I feel sometimes like I think it was junior year. One time I accidentally like started walking towards Freddie D. Like I was going back to my dorm, started walking towards Freddie. He's like, oh wait.
Yeah, I be doing that. I don't walk to Freddie though. I just be like, dang, I don't live here.
It's crazy. I wouldn't live in Freddie now.
Nah, I'm too old. But back then, Freddie was the vibe.
It's a little rough now.
Freddie was the vibe with Mr. Harris.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Harris.
But yeah, with that, so what would be your advice given out to the next person, like the next Drake? The next person who has ideas or has aspirations? What would be your plan of action for, right? You want to be successful in Lincoln. What's Drake's Lincoln survival guide?
Okay. But like before I answer that, it's funny, like me and like Pooja were like sitting down somewhere and like someone was just like singing our praises. Like, you probably get that. I was like, oh, you know, you're just so like, we're gonna do without you. Da, da. Then this other guy walks up. Nah, anybody's replaceable. Anybody can do that. I was like,
anybody is replaceable.
I was like, yeah, that's real. Because like Mr. Harris told me this. He's like, think about it. The school's been here before. It's been here for 140 years before you. And it was fine before you got here. It's gonna be fine without you. Sometimes I use that to like, it's okay to take a step back. But like, to anybody, whether you don't gotta be like, don't think just because like your time has passed. Like, don't think, oh, I'm a senior now. Like, some people in our class, you can still get involved in stuff. It's never too late. But like to anybody at Lincoln, you know, new students, returning students, if you want to get involved, just like one, you know, put yourself out there. Like a lot of people ask me, like, how'd you get all these opportunities? I read my email. Like there was a poster on the wall, and it was I read it. I'm not like I don't like walking around with my phone because like when I'm clumsy, so I'll like fall.
If I see Drake fall, oh my god!
Some people have seen me fall, and they still talk about it. It's embarrassing.
I'm definitely gonna be one of them.
I didn't always be so couthed, but now. But I just read those opportunities because like people think you go to school like, oh, you pay for the dorm, the food, and the classes. No, you pay for like, you know, extracurriculars, travel opportunities. When they bring speakers, you know, they pay some speakers. You pay for that. You pay for everything in the library, all the different catalogs and databases. Like everything is paid for by you, right, with your tuition. You know, my check didn't go bad, so I'm getting my money's worth, right? Yeah. There's a lot of money, and just like you just gotta like. Some people come into school with like a high school mindset, like, oh, you know, I wasn't really big into school. I'm just here because my mom said I gotta go somewhere, or I'm just here because like I'm gonna just meet new people and stuff. Like, you can meet new people, like, but you can meet people off campus. Like, didn't you like go abroad last semester?
Yeah,
for free, right?
Yeah.
Like I traveled domestically a lot, like through the school and other opportunities. But like you're going abroad, like you can do that. It's not like you have to study abroad. Do you know a different language?
Absolutely not.
But everybody knew English, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I feel like some people are just like scared of like new things. Or I think it's like uncool. It's like, like you're stopping yourself from making money in the future.
Yeah.
Like everything you do now is marketable.
And also, I be thinking it's funny because college is so different than high school. High school was real. You feel me? Like the bad kids was popular.
Yeah.
We some of the biggest names on campus. Everybody know Drake. You know, a lot of people know me.
And everybody knows Jordan.
And we known for doing the right thing. There aren't people who do the wrong thing aren't known. Like, you become infamous. It's not You know, like it's back, like it's different from high school. I think that's real funny.
Yeah, like the kids in the back of the bus was like,
yeah. I mean, I'm still a kid in the back of the bus. Rosa Parks all day.
Okay,
but yeah, nah,
was the bus a little shorter.
No, I've never been on a short bus. I was smooth. Okay. I'll give you that. But yeah, with that, like, yeah, definitely follow the things that are going on campus. Yeah. I feel like that is a big deal. But what's
your advice? Like, you do
my advice?
Like, talk to people.
Don't try and reinvent the wheel. A lot of people try, I feel like, want to do something different. There are people who I meet and I be like, yo, you'd be great on a podcast. And they want to do a podcast, one, because I'm the one telling them it wasn't their idea, or because I'm doing it. Oh no, somebody else got a podcast. What that got to do with you? You know, like, I think that's, like, when people talk, you should listen.
Yeah.
And, like, just because it wasn't your idea doesn't make it a bad idea.
Yep.
And I think that's something that I think I haven't been falling into. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons for my successes. Because somebody will come up, and I say yes to everything. You come ask me, yo, you know how to make $1 million? Yeah, sure. I ain't never made $1 million a day in my life.
Yet.
But with that, it's still, because I said yes to everything and I was just willing to be teachable. I'm not against criticism. You feel me? Like, my haters are the best thing you can have.
Oh, yeah.
Your hater will tell you every single reason you're not popping.
Yeah, you learn a lot from your losses.
Yeah, like, your hater will be like, well, you're not popping because you're not this, and this. And you're going to take that and you take it personal. You feel me? And people take it personal. Like, don't take it personal. Be teachable. And it's fine. Like, I tell my dad all the time, like, we had this joke, right? Shout out my dad, right? You know my dad.
It's Mr. Dennis Hall, man.
Dennis Hall, yeah. Because he
a real one. Yeah. He's super cool.
But my dad always said that, like, people don't want to do things that's not that's not their idea. And I would always tell him, I'm a professional plagiarizer. You ain't gonna meet one better than me. Not gonna meet one better than me. And I say that to be like, I say it to be funny because it's like, I see somebody else doing something and I'll be like, I can do that. And then I'll go do it. But I'm gonna do it the same way they do it until I find my own way.
I mean, there's nothing new under the sun. Everybody's copying somebody else.
Exactly. And because of that, though, I feel like I said, I'm a professional plagiarizer. I don't feel the need to try and reinvent the wheel. I don't feel the need to go out my way. Oh, Jordan got a podcast. I'm not going to do a podcast. Why?
You might do it better. You never know.
You might do it better.
It's hard to do, but
what typically happens, Jordan going to help you do a podcast.
Yeah. Because we're about to leave. We're about to graduate.
Laptop start tweaking.
Oh. Someone don't want us to win. But, like, we're about to graduate. Like, we need people to fill our shoes and do it better.
Literally, do it better. Like, you feel me? Like, you walking on the shoulders of giants just getting into the school.
Like, I forget what someone said. They said, like, as you climb, one hand should be lifted up, pulling yourself up. Another hand should be behind you, pulling somebody else up.
Like Michael Jordan.
Jumpman, yeah, I guess. But, like, oh, sure, yeah, Jumpman. Think of the Jumpman pose.
Think of the Jumpman.
But does Michael Jordan help people? Nah, he's a philanthropist.
Yes, but
he has a quote about children that can't say on the podcast.
Get them kids.
I don't know. If you see this, Mr. Jordan, big fan.
Please come on.
We'd
love to have you. You too, Barack Obama.
We can gamble a little bit too. We like to do that.
I'm not
play quarters with Barack
Obama.
I'm talking about with Jordan.
I know, but like I was talking to Barack.
Last Dance. My fault. It's different priorities. My fault.
Right. We talking to two different
people.
And we love to have both y'all on.
Yeah, that's great. But look, it's funny. Earlier you mentioned like what your dad said. Like my dad has a quote that like I live by. Shout out to my dad, David Smith.
Yeah, shout out Drake's dad. He's scary. He scares kids.
Well, yeah, I did say that. I was at Hyde's Marcus back home, and this dude I hadn't seen since like 5th grade was working, and I was like, yo, I know you, bro. He was like, oh, bro, I remember you and your dad. How your dad do? I said, what? He's doing fine. Your dad funny. I was like, and I told my dad, he just bust out laughing. But my dad told me, like, anytime I start like a first day of school or like a new job, internship, he's like, remember, Drake, everybody has a first day. And like, I'm walking out the door and I'm like, and he always says it, not like where it's mid-conversation. He says goodbye, have a good day. Remember, everybody has a first day. I'm off. Everybody has a first day. And that's the last thing he says. And then I walk out the door, and I don't know if he does it on purpose so I can like think about it and like just like. But I've been thinking, like when he said it, I was thinking about it, and this is when one time he said it right before I went to Capitol Hill, and my first day on Capitol Hill was like, it wasn't good. Like, so much going on. You're not fully orientated. You don't even know where the lunchroom's at. You're just like so like overwhelmed. You have people there from like Harvard, Yale, like they're like running the show. People from big state schools, and you're like, did my schooling prepare me for this? Like, you're nervous, you're scared. I'm gonna just say, I don't know if I should say this, but the first day of my job, my pants ripped. My pants ripped. So it was like, they made me like, they had to move some furniture. So I was in dress pants, and they're brand new, right? So I squat. It's like SpongeBob. Like, literally like SpongeBob. I was like, dang. So I was like, the whole rest of the day, I'm like just sitting down. Like, don't tell me to move. Like, then I had to like cover myself. It wasn't a good first day.
His briefcase behind his back.
No, literally. And I guess I share that to say, like, things happen. Like, it's okay. Like, I lived. But then by the end of my internship, like, everybody knew me on the Hill. Like, the people at Jamba Juice used to give me free Jamba Juice. Like, one time I just like went into a hearing. Like, I was in there for 2 seconds. People gave me like all this extra Chick-fil-A because no one showed up. I brought it back to the office. There's no Chick-fil-A on the Hill. So they're like, where'd you get that Chick-fil-A from? And you get someone Chick-fil-A, it's like, they always gonna be happy. Like,
yeah.
If you don't like Chick-fil-A, it's like
Chick-fil-A one of them things where it's like, you want to make friends, just have Chick-fil-A.
Like, if you want to like have a good event, have Chick-fil-A. And like, it wasn't like just like nuggets. It was sandwiches, wraps, whole gallon of tea. Like, I just carried all that and I just dropped it on the table right in the middle of the legislative pit. That's where they do all the legislative work. They're like, and I became like their favorite intern. It was like, so it goes back to my dad's. Everybody has a first day. And you're supposed to learn, right? You're supposed to take it slow, learn. Look at us as freshmen. Like, we come into Friday, it's hot.
Go back and watch the first episode of me and Drake. Video cutting out. Hopefully, I pray that this camera's working. If it's not,
it's okay. We have nice voices, right?
Yeah, but yeah, like the camera's cutting out. I'm looking around like this. I go back and watch that episode all the time.
But it was a good episode.
But I go back and watch my early stuff just because it's like,
look where you came from.
Yeah, the most important part was that I started.
Yeah.
The most important part was that I started. I didn't know what I was doing.
Like, I do that too. Like, sometimes, like, I gave a graduation speech when I graduated from high school. And looking back, like, when I first was writing it, I thought it was like, I have a dream speech. I was like, I'm cooking. Like, I really thought I was cooking. And I told people it gets dark sometimes, but the morning comes. I was quoting Jesse Jackson, Reverend. I was quoting the Bible. I was like, I was doing all kinds of hand motions. Like, I was like, it was great. It was like oratory. I watched it again. I was like, ooh, I could have cut that out. Ooh, that wasn't good. That didn't hit like it should have hit. That was cheesy. Like, I'm watching that. Ooh, no. But like in the moment, it's like, but I learned so much that I could have gave that same speech 10 times better now, just 4 years later. Just from what I learned, it's like, yeah.
And the one thing about college is like, you grow up fast.
Like professional. I feel like a lot of people always focus on like, oh, you're going to learn how to meet with people and deal with people starting with your roommate, right? If your roommate's dirty or they stay up late or blah, 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 blah. No. You're going to grow professionally, like through classes. You're going to learn how to like haggle people. Like, in the semester, like you got a B, you want an A, you got a C, you want a B. It's like, yo, professor,
hurry up,
work with me. Let's talk. Let's
get this.
Hey, let's.
And the wildest part is just like, I was thinking back on this. I was like, we're learning how to be professional. And when you think about college like that, you like, dang, this is easy. Like, I go to class and it's like, I think I'm already a psychiatrist. I'm already a psychologist. I'm already a businessman. When I walk through the door, you just telling me the extra stuff. So with that, it just gets like, you absorb it because it's like, I feel like you embody what you are. You feel me?
Yeah.
And it's, when you like, I'm gonna let you talk. I'm sorry, because I've been thinking about this one for a minute. But like, when you really think like that, it's like it's crazy how much, like I said, how much easier things get, and also it's like how simple you realize it really is. Because like you think, oh, I gotta read this book, blah blah blah. Well, once you read that book, literally reading that book is what makes you go from 30K to 60K, and then you read another book, and now you at 90K. But it's like, you're not thinking like that. Because you think, well, I got to read this book to teach them. That's really all you got to do. Like, you think all I got to do is read a book? Okay.
Yeah. No, you hit the nail on the head with that one. Because, like, there's, like, some philosopher. He says, I remember the books I read like the meals I've eaten, but they've influenced me the same. So you can't say every book you've read over college, but they like, and it's like you can't say every meal you've eaten in the last week, right?
Yeah.
But like it's nourished you, it's nourished your mind, like every book, paper, whatever. And it's like, my twin is like a super avid reader. Like he's like really reading.
You gotta get you and your twin on the podcast.
No, that couldn't work. That would be, people always say like, well, what if you and Drew went to the same school? Like, I was like, ooh, that'd be like a mess. Like, like we're like, you have the same personality, like, big personality. Like, we like just talk a lot. We like love having a good time. Like, it would blow people's mind. Cause he's been up to Lincoln. He was up here like this semester, helped me move in. And like when people see him, they're like, now he has a beard, right? So he didn't have a beard like when we were freshmen. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's also funny seeing like when you get used to it, when you meet only one twin, you don't even mix them up.
Yep.
You only mix them up when you meet them both.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. And then this is a phenomenon. People call me his name. Like, and they never met him. Like I have professors, hey Drew, I mean Drake. I'm like, that's happened in college at least twice. This happened in high school. That happened like in professional settings. Like it's like that's some cosmic stuff. Like it's crazy. But like,
y'all gotta sit down. And just
you would love
one
him.
episode.
I don't know. We can get him up here for homecoming.
Yeah, just one episode. That would be hilarious.
That would, man. Oh man. Nah, you
call it Drake. Drew.
Okay, so I'm on the trivia team, right? Mm-hmm. On the campus All-Star Challenge. We went to LA. Drew's on the trivia team. So it's just HBCU trivia, right? We go against each other. And like, we did a TikTok or something for like their marketing team and stuff. And like, people loved it. And like, people came up to me, like, because I had done it the year before. And this was his first year going to California. They're like, yo, Drake, man. There's a dude from A&T look just like you. You look giant. Like, you look just like you, bro. Like, have you seen him? I'm like, nah, what dude? What you talking about? Bro, oh, he's not even here right now. And then like, he be talking, this is the dude I was telling you about. Nah, I don't see it. And he'd be like, yeah, I don't see it either. Like, we would mess with people. Like, our joke was like, I joked to him, I was like, damn, do you really like the king of the nerds out here? Like people really like you out here. Like, nah, trivia is great. That's another thing I do on campus. Like, I love trivia. Trivia team, we're a trip.
But with that, right, we can get ready to close it out unless there's anything else you want to say.
Oh, man, yeah, I know. We're supposed to, like, talk politics. Like, we had this whole plan before politics, but we just started,
talk politics.
The college politician. That's coming soon. But, like, I'll just close it with this. Like, college is what you make it. Like, it doesn't matter where you go. If you go to Lincoln,
you'll be great. You'll have a wonderful time.
Oh, my God. But, like, college is what you make it. So, like, don't feel like, oh, I got to go to a certain school in a certain area with certain people. No, you just got to be yourself in any room you're at. And that will take you so far. Like, if I go in a room and I'm me, whether I'm in the classroom, dining room, meeting the vice president, meeting the governor, marching or whatever, I'm me. I'm just Drake. Right.
That's such a big deal. Because I think freshman year we talked about how we used to code switch. I don't code switch no more. Like, I used to think that was such an important thing. Oh, when you're talking to so you got to talk. No, you don't. Talk the exact same. I'm the same. I mean, you don't cuss.
Yeah, of course.
Like have decorum.
Yeah. But that's the difference. Decorum and code switch. That's the difference.
Like, I make the same type of jokes. No matter who it is.
Because they laugh regardless.
Exactly. Like, it's just because I'm a little bit less couth than Drake is.
Jordan's big man on campus, literally.
I'm still uncouth.
Big man on campus. But no, it's real. Because like, I just say a lot of like off-color remarks like on the hill. People like ate it up. They would just laugh because it's like so uptight. People are like, oh, we're gonna save the world, blah, blah, blah.
We're gonna save the world.
Deficit, the deficit, recessions. Recessions, the worst. But it's like, I make a joke, oh my God, that was funny. And people like you at a smile. Some people didn't like the jokes, but it's like, it's whatever.
Yeah, if you don't like the jokes, you don't like me.
Some people don't like Dave Chappelle's jokes, but I love Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle's hilarious. But yeah, all right. But with that, right, can I get you to say this is the Black Caliber Podcast?
This is the
Dang.
Peter Piper picked it back. Okay, this is the Black Caliber podcast
With the college politician. All right, man.
That was nice.